It's difficult to get the ball rolling. That's what just went through my head as I try to form sentences from emotions buried far deeper than I thought. To glance at myself, that's easy. To sit down and evaluate who those I care about perceive me as, that's difficult. 22 years to form into the person I am, and still so much that needs to be done. I consider myself to be a good person. A couple weeks ago, I had a passing conversation with my brother, stating something that made me think about whether that statement holds weight. I feel guilty in small slights. Any wrongdoings I do, regardless of the scale or if it was intentional, I feel guilt all the same. And the emotion suffocates me quickly, and I will tirelessly seek to right the wrong. However, being easily affected by guilt does not indicate one's virtue. Perhaps I seek to right the wrong I made to free myself of the feeling of guilt, and not out of care for the person I hurt. Am I a good person? I hope to be. I hope I am. And more than anything else, I hope to honor my parents. That's where this conversation topic stems from. Approval of the person I've become, proud to be the caregivers that raised such a fine person. I think a big part of my motivation for bettering myself, both financially and spiritually, is to give my parents what they gave me. The blessings they gave me were, and still are, of great value. To have a warm home, proper schooling, 2 parents that love me, I am truly fortunate. And that's the root of these thoughts, questioning if I'm a good person, how my parents perceive me, how I can do better for them, a swirl of topics stemming from one place. A big goal in my life is to give back to my parents in a materialistic way. It's hard for me to show love to my family emotionally. I know they feel that way for me, but it's difficult to express nonetheless. What better way to give back to the people who gave me such a great upbringing than becoming a successful individual who can buy them gifts that they've only dreamt of? It's a very materialistic view, but who wouldn't appreciate their dream car, especially given to them as a gift, and from their son, no less. And a goal like this is a good drive to pursue bigger and better things in life. Direction as a 22-year-old is not great. It's a rarity for someone between the ages of 18 to 22 to know what they want and what to do right out of high school. I don't think they would want me to set up my future so I'll be able to give them a car or a house rather than being fully happy in what I pursue. This part of this episode is the most disjointed topic. My current thoughts and feelings on the topic are poured out on this page in the manner they present themselves in. I think all I'm saying is I love my parents. I love my family. And maybe I should say that to their face. And perhaps we should all show our latent appreciation for those who take care of us a lot more often. Moving swiftly along to lighter matters, I want to talk about video games. For a while now, video games, something that has always been a part of my life, has been really stale. Stale in the way that I'm not excited or intrigued from most anything that I interact with. Every so often I get my hands on a game that's truly special. Those games wake me up and fill me with the passion I feel for the genre, and then as quickly as they have appeared, they vanished. After I finish said game, I feel that disinterest seep in again. It happened with Breath of the Wild years ago, and it happened most recently with God of War. So I've been searching, not only for a game I can love again and devote time to, but hopefully also a content-heavy game that can allow good videos to be made with. And I recently discovered the game RuneScape, and I'm fascinated. I've had an eye on the game for at least a year now, and only recently made plans to try it out, and it's amazing. I've always shied away from MMORPGs as they always seem to be filled with bad business practices and rough stereotypes of the genre. But this game is really fun. I've always been a loot goblin, so there's a check there. I like RPGs a lot, but never dived into the multiplayer aspect, so there's a check there. And the vastness of the game and the potential second life you can have with it fascinates me. I started streaming it, and someone said down the line, you would have to plan XP grinding like a real life event. Now some people will call that extremely lame, but to me it's really interesting. It reminds me of a very popular anime that I watched back when I was a teenager. It reminds me of Sword Art Online. And that's so cool to me. There are actually real player killers, or PKers for short, clans you can make, and questing that you could do with your friends. It is a medium of entertainment I viewed from afar that seems to have a really warm exterior. And now experience it for just a bit, I love the premise. The only thing that concerns me a bit is the addictive nature of the game, and balancing my time with it. I intend to do all of the quests and level up as much as I can, and I only wish I found this game when I was younger, as it seems like an amazing thing to grow up with. I am happy with my upbringing though. Halo, Minecraft, OG DS games, Pokemon are an amazing lineup for one's childhood. Perhaps if I ever spray my DNA into someone, I'll raise my son or daughter with the same games I had as a kid, or more. Also sorry for describing having a kid like that, but don't blame me. Blame Eric Andre. He coined that disgusting phrase that I very much love. In short, old school RuneScape is enticing, and I wonder if I'll be sticking with it for the next couple months. I hope to find other games that I can fall in love with soon, as that empty feeling towards video games is not a fun one. I want to now ease into this section here with more questions from you guys. I want to have a nice balance between my thoughts and feelings, the game's progression, and acknowledging you guys. In no way do I want to just do Q&As for this entire series, but I'm still understanding this all, so please bear with me. In the spirit of reflection that we enter this episode on, I have a question that furthers that. This one comes from Rennie, asking, what do you think is your most outstanding quality as a person? Over the time of the pandemic, my social skills suffered greatly, even more so than usual, as beforehand, I was also quite isolated. But with the pandemic, the ability to travel and escape that isolation became impossible. I still don't feel like I left that time of my life, despite the shift back to normal society. Coming out of it unscathed, perhaps I would say my sense of humor. To regard myself as outstanding, any part of me, that's quite difficult. I don't think I'm putting myself down either, saying that about myself. It's just that level of praise is alien to me. I don't think any traits of mine reach such a height, at least not yet. Any traits that I held to high esteem before seem so tiny now. If I could possibly warp the question, I want to speak on what I think is the most outstanding trait for someone to have. Just a warning, in any avenue that I take this question, it will be incredibly corny, but I'll answer honestly. The greatest trait someone can have, in my humble opinion, is kindness. Pure kindness. Doing things for the sake of others' happiness when that transaction leaves you with very little is incredible. Growing up, we had a neighbor that showed such kindness. When I think of her, I imagine that single trait I speak of now. She went above and beyond for us in every aspect. She was a friend of my mom's, and growing up I didn't see how much of a gift she was. When sickness crept into my family, she stepped up and helped in whatever way she could. When we left our home to move out of state, she was there to help us pack and even bought us dinner. Throughout my childhood, for birthdays or any special event, she would give large gifts. Even now, years later, she still checks in on us. The utmost care and compassion, and she acted in such a way without wanting anything in return. She was just kind. It's hard for me to imagine her angry or having any negative traits, but she most certainly has those. But I would feel truly disappointed with myself if I was the one who spurred such a reaction from her. I picked this trait solely because of what I saw in this woman, and the power it has. No one else came to help our family to the level she did. Even now, she checks in more than some of our closer family members. A caring person and the actions of one can have such a significant effect. It's hard to not consider it for the most important trait. There are many I could pick, but because of her impact I chose kindness, and I'm going to stick by that. I threw around the idea of loyalty, but that trait could be misplaced. Loyalty to something or someone evil, the trait has a perspective issue. The answer I think most would give is the specific trait they are deprived of the most. A lack of responsible people in their life, and they may be pointed towards that more. And you could fill most any trait there. So with my answer, I thank you for the question. We could do one more, and then I have a loot assessment for our time fishing today. This one comes from Yeah47, asking, would you rather ask your future self a question, or tell your past self something? Right out of the gate, I lean towards telling my past self something. The future's uncertainty is appealing to me. Having that spoiled in any way is something I don't think I want. But the ability to make my present better, based on informing my past self of what to do, getting out of various conflicts in a clean way with a better standing afterwards, seems like a blessing. I think I would rectify the past. I don't really have much else to say there. I appreciate the question. Coming to a close, let's talk about today's loot yield. It was pretty pitiful. I didn't spend a long time this session, as this week has been pretty hectic. However, I didn't get any rare books or enchanted rods to further the fishing drops. I fished for about an hour though, and now I don't really have to worry about food for a while, which is nice. Going forward, I won't dedicate entire episodes to fishing, I think, especially if this is all I get. But that is all subject to change. We are just here to have fun and enjoy ourselves. I know it was a short episode, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm still getting the hang of what I'm doing here, so having you guys along for the ride is very sweet. Bye everyone. Take care of yourselves.